3 strategies to enhance your interpersonal communication. This is part of the video series Introvert Tools for Navigating Challenging Situations, brought to you by Introverts Academy. Our mission is to raise awareness about introvert strengths and how to tap into their impressive inner power for personal, professional, organizational, and systemic development to build a better world for all of us. And we're doing this at 4 levels: individual, interpersonal, group level, and systemic level. I'm Gabriela Cășineanu. I'm an introvert myself. I'm an organizational and relationship system coach. And what I'll share with you today are concepts and strategies that you can take away to improve your interpersonal communication. I'll talk about the relationship system intelligence, what interpersonal communication challenges can teach you, and 3 strategies that make communicating with others more effective and meaningful. Take a moment and think about any interpersonal communication challenges you encounter more often. And while I'm talking about the strategies, see if any of them can apply to your situation. I'll talk about a relationship system, and I want to give you an example of what that means to get a better idea how you can use those strategies. Any 2 or more people that have something in common, like an orchestra, create a relationship system. The orchestra, it's not just the individual musicians, they create something together. There are relationships developing between them. They have a common purpose. They have a past, a history, and they look forward to create more together. All of this is a relationship system. It's like an entity, a live entity that evolves in time. Imagine what happens if the conductor changes. The relationship system will change. The conductor has a different style, a different way of dealing with members of the orchestra, and that will impact the system. If the orchestra performs in another environment, the sound might be different. They might be more inspired or less, depending on the environments. It affects the relationship system, so the outcome might be different. If one musician is replaced with another, or more musicians are replaced, it affects the system. So you can see how the relationship system can evolve, can change, depending on the conditions, depending on what's happening. And that is a relationship system that I'm talking about. And in system coaching, we consider that the system, the relationship system, has an intelligence in itself. We call it relationship system intelligence, ORSC. Maybe you heard about emotional intelligence. It's about how you react to your own emotions. There is also social intelligence, how you react to what others are doing. But in a relationship, it's about your relationship with the system, with the objective of the system. Let's consider a team. A team is a relationship system. You're part of that team as a team member. Do you agree with what's going on in the team? Do you agree with the team objective? To how other members are interacting? Do you build genuine relationship with your colleagues? Are there any conflicts between your own objectives and the objective of the team? All these are part of the system. I'll give you 5 principles of ORSC. Each relationship system forms its own unique identity. As I gave the example earlier, the orchestra has its own identity. If something changes, the relationship system changes, it will have a different identity. The relationship systems rely on deep democracy, and every voice is a voice of the system. What that means, for a relationship system to function well, everyone needs to share their opinion, so the others become aware of what they think and what they can do together. If you hold back, people might not know your perception about the situation, your ideas. If someone talks all the time, he might take over the conversation, and the others won't contribute as much. So the relationship system might suffer. Everyone who is part of a relationship system has a voice. And whatever you say, it's the voice of the system. It's what the system wants to say, and it's expressing itself through the members of the system. We consider the relationship systems as naturally generative, intelligent, and creative. Because when you learn how to tap into the relationship system intelligence, you will get ideas about what you can do next. You will find solutions of the problems that the system is dealing with. As you know, in any relationship system, there are roles. So the relationship system relies on those roles to execute the functions that are needed to take the system to the next level. It's the same in a family. Someone might have the role to take the garbage out, and if that person doesn't want or is too busy, someone else can take on that role. It's a role that is needed for that system to function well. And the last one, the relationship systems are in a constant state of emergence. What that means, there is always something happening. Even if you think that you find and you implement the solution, something new comes up. So all the time the system is in a state of emergence. That's why it's good to have some techniques to deal with these changes inside the system, to deal with the pressure from outside the system. Everything is evolving. These are a few examples of relationship systems: a couple, a family, the relationship between the old lady and her grandson. A team is a relationship system. Two colleagues that work on a project, they form a relationship system. The concepts and strategies that I'm giving you are based on organizational and relationship system coaching, which is an integrated and robust coaching model based on systems theory, process work, family system therapy, alternative dispute resolution, quantum physics, coactive coaching, and more. That's why I was saying earlier that the strategies that I'm giving you can apply to different situations. They are high-level strategies that you can customize based on the situation you're dealing with. Let's see what the challenges you face regarding interpersonal communication can teach you. Have you heard about this one? The world is a mirror. Neville Goddard said, "The world is a mirror, forever reflecting what you are doing within yourself." So you have a conversation with someone and you don't like how the conversation goes, that might be a mirror of what you are doing, of what you're thinking about the other person, about the relationship. And it's coming back to you so you can deal with it. Deepak Chopra said, "The world is a mirror for us. Whatever you say about others is really how you feel about yourself." Have you ever thought of that? If you hate someone, maybe you hate a certain part of yourself, a part that you don't want to deal with. If you don't like someone's behavior, maybe there is something you can learn from that behavior to help you improve. Because in other conditions you might do the same thing, even if you're not aware. A few examples of interpersonal communication challenges. Maybe you don't know how to start a discussion. If you look at this as a challenge, you can think about what is stopping me to start a discussion. How can I start a discussion? So you can find ways to overcome the challenge. The others want to impose their opinion on me. It might be true, but look where in your life you want to impose your opinion on others. Maybe you're not doing it the same way as they are doing it. Maybe you're not doing it with the same person. But check with yourself if you still have that behavior. The other person is judgmental. Do you judge other people? Because if you do, the others are judging you as well. Maybe you think people don't understand me. It might be true, but you can ask yourself, what can I do so they can understand me better? That will give you an idea how you can overcome that. People can guess what you're thinking, how you really are. Interpersonal communication means a two-way conversation. Could be in person or other ways of self-expression. But it's not one way, it's not a monologue. So if you want to be understood, you have to be part of that conversation. You have to open up. Did you think about open up more often? Speak up when you want to say something. Even if you feel the other person doesn't understand you, at least you do your part. Do you have a hard time saying no? That happens usually when you don't set boundaries or you don't communicate your boundaries. You don't have courage to stand up for yourself. If you lack that courage, you will see people sharing their opinion, asking something from you more and more, because you need to build up that courage to stand up for yourself. Let's look at the 3 strategies that make communicating more effective and meaningful. The first one is being intentional. The second one, I call it everyone is right, but, and I'll give you the second part when we get there. And the third one, I call it lightness. The system coaching concepts that I'm teaching you right now are part of the curriculum of CRR Global, and I like what they say. Create from it rather than react to it. If you consider it the relationship system, you have to create the solution from whatever is going on, not to react to what's happening. Let's talk about being intentional. And I'll give the example of 2 colleagues who work on a project. They have a common goal to complete the project and finish it in time. When they work together, they might not agree on something, the way to handle the project. And if they don't agree, each of them might be stubborn, believing they're right, and they blame the other person, maybe for not getting the information in time or not listening. So there is that conversation that goes horizontally between the two of them. But if you think about the third entity they create, the relationship system of them working together on that project, there is something else here. There is a common goal at that relationship system. So when they start looking from this perspective, they are together a team that needs to move the project toward a common goal. Everything they do, they relate to that goal. Instead of saying, I'm right, I don't agree with you, we should do this way, they should look into, okay, this is your point of view, this is my point of view. How we can manage this so the project moves on, instead of just arguing who is right and who is wrong. So they come together as a team and they work together toward a common objective. This is where the relationship system intelligence comes in place, because when they open up and they don't look at each other like competing, instead they collaborate for the common goal, they can find solutions to whatever problems the project deals with. And it's the same for the team. Let's say a team of 4 people. There will be relationships forming, there will be conversations, there will be collaborations between them. But what they need to do, they all need to keep in mind that they need to work together toward the common objective of the team. So they might need to compromise. They might need to find solutions together, even if they don't like each other. Because what's important if they're part of the same team is to achieve the team objectives. If you think about that team being part of an organization, let's say one of the team is marketing, the other one is operations, the other one is financial. They don't function in a vacuum. They need to collaborate so the whole organization achieves its goals. The marketing department might want more money to promote the products, but the financial department knows that there is a certain budget that they can allocate to marketing, because otherwise they don't have enough money for operations, for salaries, and all the other expenses they need. Operations have to work well with marketing and with financial department, because all of them are part of the same organization, and without them collaborating well, it's hard to achieve the objectives. So you can see how being intentional is a concept that applies not only to one person, but to a relationship system, a partnership, a team, an organization. There are different layers, systems, subsystems, and all of them need to work together if they want to achieve their objectives. Let's talk about the second one. Everyone is right, but only partially. If you have a colleague, he comes with his own personality, beliefs, moods, has his own priorities, goals, certain knowledge. He has his own culture, religion, experience, certain tolerance level. And you have to work together. And you also have your own priorities, beliefs, culture, knowledge, goals, tolerance level, personality, values, experience, mood. So each of you has a different baggage. One of you says something, the other person might understand something else, corresponding to their own baggage. So you might not understand each other, or might understand something different. And this is usually when you see those interpersonal communication challenges, because you're coming from different perspectives. That's why in relationship system coaching, we say that everyone is right, but only partially. Only from your perspective. You are right, based on what you know, based on your experience, based on who you are and what you think. What you say, it's right. But the other person is also right from their own perspective. So you need to validate to see if you understand correctly. You can ask questions to check, this is what you mean. This is what you're asking me to do. This is what I want from you. Asking questions can help you understand better, so you avoid mistakes, so you avoid misunderstanding, and you can progress faster. And this happens in any kind of relationship. Could be personal, professional relationship, friends, in teams, in organizations. Be aware of that. It's not that you're right all the time. You're right from your own perspective. To give you an example, you go to your boss and want to ask for a raise. The boss has his own priorities, beliefs, values, experience, goals. It might be in a certain mood when you go there. You might not know all those things because these are not visible. So what you can do to help your boss understand better why you are there, you can think about how your boss sees the same situation about getting a raise. You're seeing it as something that you deserve. Your boss might see it as something that it's not necessary right now, or he might not have time for it, or he might not agree with it. He needs to go through HR department. He needs to understand in what way that salary raise that you get might affect the team. So there are more aspects that you can think about before even reaching out to your boss to ask for a meeting. You can prepare in advance examples of the things that you did well, that help the organization, that helps the team, and how your performance brings more benefit than were expected at your level. So talk to your manager in the terms the manager is used to, not how you see the salary raise that will help you to buy a house maybe. That has no value for your manager. Your manager has to understand how to justify that increase in salary to HR, to see if the budget allows it, to think about how the team might be affected if you get a salary raise. Others might ask as well. So there are more factors to take in consideration. Think about all these aspects he might have in mind and prepare yourself with facts, with achievements, with things that you can share with your boss to help him understand why that raise is an opportunity for the company, not an expense. Because otherwise, the conversation might not go well. Give your boss whatever information he needs to be on your side when he presents your case further. And in order to do that, think about what the common goal you and your boss have. The common goal is achieving the team objective, achieving the organization objective. What was your contribution up to this point? Did you do more than you were asked for? Did you have great results that affected positively the company and the team objectives? And from that perspective, start preparing the information that you will present to your boss. The third strategy, lightness. I don't mean become a clown. What I mean by lightness is not taking everything too serious. Don't take yourself too serious. It's not the end of the world if something doesn't go the way you want. If someone doesn't agree with you, put things in perspective. Let me give you an example. The husband comes home, he had a busy day, he's hungry, and the wife is not in a good mood. All the day she had to deal with the children and the household tasks. She's working from home. All those made her angry and tired. And when the husband comes in, she doesn't have the patience to talk to him or start blaming that he was not there to help her with all the tasks she has to deal with. But if they think they are together as a family, which has a bigger goal, they start putting things in perspective. The husband, for example, before coming home can ask, "Hey, do you need anything? I'm coming home." The common goal of the relationship, of the family, might be to have a good life, to be happy together, to raise the children. So when you put things in this perspective, how important it is, how difficult was your day? Do you really have to be upset? Do you really have to have the expectation from your wife that she has to drop everything and give you some food because you're hungry? You can think what you can do to avoid these situations. The wife can share with him, but not at that moment when both of them are tired, judging each other. Find a moment when they both are calm and discuss these issues, how they can handle them in a different way. Is there a way to take some tasks out of the wife's shoulder so she's not so busy, tired, doing all of that? They can reorganize their family life to achieve that harmony, that happiness they want. Because even the children are affected if there is conflict in the family. That's a benefit of thinking about the relationship system and the goals that you have, and putting things in perspective. Because when you think of that, you can come up with solutions. You don't let the relationship go on autopilot, go in whatever direction happens to go. You can be more intentional in how you build that relationship toward the goals that you want, the benefits that you want to achieve. So put things in perspective. Ask yourself how we can handle this. Now we have to deal with this situation. Can we leave it for later? What we can do differently next time? Because this situation might repeat over time. So instead of dealing with the same situation over and over and getting more frustrated, take a moment and discuss and try to see how we can improve. We talked about 5 aspects of the relationship system intelligence. Each relationship system forms its own unique identity. Keep that in mind when you are with a friend, with a colleague, or with your mother. You are the same person, but with each of them you have different type of relationship, and they are unique. The relationship systems rely on deep democracy, and every voice is a voice of the system. As an introvert, you have a voice. The other person, or the other people who are part of the same relationship system, need to understand you. And you need to open up, so they hear your voice. They hear what you have to say. They might not agree with, it's totally okay. But if you don't say anything, they will assume that you are how they think you are. So it's your role to open up. And as an extrovert, you have responsibility to allow the introvert to speak up. You have the patience and be curious to invite the introverts in your life to share their perspective. It's not only about you. Everyone is right, but only partially. You need to create an environment in that relationship system where people feel at ease to talk, to share what they think. If someone is negative all the time, instead of shutting down the communication, you can ask, what's the reason for you talking this way? Because it might be a deeper reason that makes them react this way. They might express it in a negative way, but the reason behind it might be important to deal with. If someone doesn't say anything, encourage them to talk, and don't judge what they are saying. It's their opinion. Relationship systems are naturally generative, intelligent, and creative. As I showed you earlier, when you think about how you relate to the system, how you can contribute to the system objective, you can come up with ideas about what you can do, how you can improve the system, how you can navigate the challenges the system is going through. The relationship systems rely on roles to execute their functions. Even the smaller roles are important. And keep in mind that a role is not a person. If you talk about a manager, that is a role. Today might be one person occupying that role. 2 years from now, it might be a different person occupying the same role in this system. The role manager is important for a department, but it's important to dissociate the person from the role. The person could be a good human being, but not a good manager. When you dissociate them, you can share with the manager the things that you notice that could help that person become a better manager. You can share how a certain behavior affects the team and the department. They can change if they want, they might not change, but you did whatever you can to improve the situation. Relationship systems are in constant state of emergence. All the time there's something new that we have to deal with. When you start applying these strategies and start relying on this relationship system intelligence, it might be easier to deal with those situations. We also talked about the challenges that you have regarding interpersonal communication might teach you something about yourself, something that you can work on, something that you can improve. And you'll be surprised when you improve something in the way you communicate with others, the others might change the way they communicate with you. Don't take my word for granted, try it. It might take a while for them to understand and change, but if you don't change anything, they will assume they're totally okay and they will continue to do whatever they did before. So don't expect change in others if you don't change something about the way you handle the situation. And there's 3 strategies that make communicating with others more effective and meaningful. To be intentional when you communicate with others, to think about the common goal that you have. Everyone is right, but only partially from their own perspective. And lightness, to put things in perspective, to not take yourself too serious. It's not the end of the world if you didn't get that salary raise. The manager might have his own reason for not accepting your request. You also have choices. What do you think about what I shared related to interpersonal communication? What do you take away from it? One-on-one coaching. There is also the book Navigating the Relationship Landscape that is based on concepts that I shared today and more from the organizational and relationship system coaching. Rebecca said about this book, it's a wonderful tool for gaining clarity about relationship issues. Reflecting on the photos helps cut through the noise and confusion inside one's own mind. The result is clear, succinct messages to myself on what to focus on to help my relationships.